Today we're making sourdough apple fritters. This is going to be a go-to dessert all fall long. This recipe is filled with warm spices like cinnamon and nutmeg and cloves. Then it's mixed together with some sourdough and some fresh apples, maybe some that you picked from the orchard. Fry it up until golden brown and you are met with a soft and fluffy fritter. They are delicious. For an extra bit of sweetness, I'm going to share with you a maple glaze, or for a bit of crunch, we can top them with cinnamon sugar as well. So grab your sourdough discard and let's get started. First off, we're going to start by preparing our apples. You're going to need 230 grams or about 2 large apples. Now, I love using Honeycrisp or apples like Granny Smith. They are nice and crunchy and a little bit tart. If you're looking for something a little bit sweeter, you could also use a Gala apple, your choice. First, you're gonna want to peel the apples and then we're going to dice them. Since we're only frying the apple fritters about 2 minutes on each side, we want to keep our apple pieces fairly small, about 1/4 to 1/2 inch. That way it'll be nice and tender after frying and not super crunchy. Set these to the side for later. Heat a large pot with 1.5 inches of neutral oil to 350 degrees. I also recommend using a frying thermometer. While the oil is heating, let's prepare our batter. Grab a large bowl and your kitchen scale. To that, we're going to add 140 grams or about 1 cup of all-purpose flour. For just a touch of sweetness, we're going to add 50 grams or about 1/4 cup of sugar. To help make these fritters nice and fluffy, we're going to add 10 grams or 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Now for all of those warm spices, we're going to add 2 grams or 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Then we're going to add 1 gram or 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. And finally, 1 gram or 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves. For a bit of contrast, add 3 grams or 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Give that a little mix and set that aside for later. Now for our wet ingredients. To a medium bowl, add 140 grams or a scant 2/3 cup of milk, 2 eggs, 4 grams or 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and finally 120 grams or 1/2 cup of sourdough discard. Mix until smooth. Now we're going to add our wet ingredients into our dry. And stir until there are just a few streaks of flour left. I'm seeing just a little bit of flour left behind, and now we're going to add our apples. Pour them into the batter and fold them in. Now that the batter is set and the oil is hot, we're going to head on over and get frying. We're going to fry 3 to 4 fritters at a time. You don't want to overcrowd your pot. Each fritter is going to be about 1/4 cup of batter. I like to use a cookie scoop. You could use 2 spoons. I like to smush it just a little bit with a spoon to help for even flipping. Allow it to fry for 2 minutes on the first side. After 2 minutes, flip over and continue to fry for 2 more minutes or until golden brown all over. Once cooked, use a metal strainer to remove the fritter from the hot oil and place on some paper towel. If you prefer a little bit more of a crunch, you can top the sourdough apple fritters with a cinnamon and sugar mixture. I add a cup or 200 grams of sugar to a bowl with 9 grams or 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon. Stir that up and dip the fritters while they're still warm, and it is so good. As you add the batter to the hot oil, you will notice that the oil will fluctuate, so just keep an eye on it and make sure that it stays around 350 degrees. Now for the final touch, let's prepare the maple glaze. We're gonna add 260 grams or 2 cups of powdered sugar. I like to put it through a metal strainer just to get out any lumps. To that, add 60 grams or 1/4 cup of milk. Then 4 grams or 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Well, yeah. And finally, the star ingredient, maple syrup. Add 20 grams or 1 tablespoon. Stir until smooth. Now to top our fritters. You can use a spoon to drizzle the glaze on top or dunk the fritter inside the glaze for it to be totally covered. But honestly, you could eat the fritter plain with even just a dusting of powdered sugar on top, and it is delicious. And just like that, we have sourdough apple fritters. They are so easy to make and so delicious. From the warm spices throughout the batter to the tender and slightly crunchy apples inside. It is so soft and warm. I love how quick and easy this recipe is. It's the perfect recipe to use those apples that you just got from the apple orchard. I hope you give this recipe a try this fall. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!